This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazelton Standard Speaker.
We find out what a new cancer treatment center will offer the area next. Welcome everyone, I hope you're nice and warm, and I thank you for joining us on this winter day. I'm Ken Carr with your local information. Work is being done by the Lehigh Valley Health Network to help cancer patients in the Hazelton area. Here's Lisa Sugar with today's news feature.
A brand new state-of-the-art cancer center is coming to Hazelton. Today, I am pleased to be joined by a doctor who will be very involved with this, Dr. Michael Evans, who is the medical director for the Lehigh Valley Physician Group. He is also the clinical practice lead for the Lehigh Valley Topper Cancer Institute. We will be having this brand new Lehigh Valley Topper Cancer Institute built on the site of what was once the nursing school in front of the hospital and most recently the Business and Education Center. So tell us what this means.
Well, I think just generally speaking, it's a culmination of efforts going back over the last several years. So prior to 2014, there was no Lehigh Valley cancer practice in Hazelton. And so we started up the practice back in November of 2014. And over time, we've been growing quite consistently as part of the greater Cancer Institute, the Lehigh Valley Topper Cancer Institute. So we've gotten to the point where our growth has been substantial enough where it warrants a new cancer center. And ideally, a cancer center is on site with the hospital. It has radiation oncology in addition to medical oncology and infusion, and ability to participate in our network clinical trials as well. So it's been a lot of work and a lot of steady growth over the last 7 years that has led to this. It's a much larger facility, and then again, adding radiation oncology is really kind of a big deal to have that all under one roof and at the hospital location. So it'll bring a lot to the people of the region. It'll bring the Lehigh Valley standard to the region, both for medical oncology, but now also for radiation oncology.
That's wonderful to hear, because I'm sure many people had to travel sometimes for their treatments that wasn't available right here. This is one of 3 cancer centers in the country participating in the Memorial Sloan-Kettering Cancer Alliance. How big of a deal is that?
It's a really big deal. So Lehigh Valley Topper Cancer Institute is participating and has been participating with the Sloan-Kettering Alliance for a few years now. And what that means, I mean, we're technically not a part of that yet in Hazelton, but what it does mean is that through the Topper Cancer Institute, the standards I mentioned are uniform. And for Lehigh Valley to be a part of the Sloan-Kettering Alliance, they have had to adopt the same standards that Memorial Sloan-Kettering has in place. And so those standards are our local standards as well. They're a very high bar, instead of some lower standards that are, more widespread. It's a pretty high bar that Sloan-Kettering establishes. And so across all of the Lehigh Valley Topper Cancer Institute, we have those high standards. What it means for patients is greater access to clinical trials. So Sloan-Kettering has a large assortment of clinical trials that are made available through the Lehigh Valley Cancer Institute. And so as a part of that institute, we are able to facilitate enrollment in those trials for patients who qualify.
You tell me we're expecting to see this to completion, hopefully in the spring of 2023, which I'm sure will go very quickly once construction gets underway with this. So it's going to be built on the site of the former nursing school, which it will be a brand new state-of-the-art facility. So describe a little bit what this building will hold.
It's a 3-story building. It's, I believe, about 22 or so thousand square feet. So it's a fairly large building. On the first floor, we'll have our medical practice, our hematology oncology practice, where patients will come and go to see their doctors. And we'll also have the radiation oncology practice, where patients will come see their radiation doctors and also receive radiation treatment. And as people who are getting cancer treatment know, it can be a very long day. So infusion is most of what we give as far as systemic cancer treatment. And so that will be on the 3rd floor of the building. So it'll be a nice, peaceful view from the third story overlooking the campus, and just a nice place, a larger place for patients to come receive their treatment. And if they have to, some patients do have to spend a whole day every time they come to get treated, which is a recurring process, usually every few weeks.
While we are looking forward to the new center, there are services already in the Hazelton area, correct?
That is correct. We currently have a medical oncology practice and infusion center, and so that practice will be moving over to the new site. We'll have much more space both for the practice and for infusion. Radiation oncology does exist in the Hazelton area, although it's not all under the same Lehigh Valley leadership, and so that's something that's going to be new as well.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazelton. Remember, in an emergency, our emergency room is the safest place to be.
A quick note before we get to the weather. The bus trip to the March for Life in Washington, D.C. this Friday, being run by the Pennsylvanians for Human Life Greater Hazelton Chapter, has been canceled.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
Here's our forecast from the National Weather Service. On Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 27 degrees. On Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 16 degrees. Winds could gust as high as 21 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 37 degrees. Wind gusts as high as 24 miles per hour. Wednesday night, a slight chance of snow. Cloudy with a low near 20 degrees. We have a 20% chance of precipitation. Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 24 degrees. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low around 4 degrees. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 16 degrees. And Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 2 degrees. The Schuylkill League Wrestling Championships were held over the weekend. Let's find out what happened on the SSPTV Standard Speaker scoreboard. North Schuylkill finished second as a team and Tamaqua was fourth. Noah Gilgore won gold for North Schuylkill. For Tamaqua, Michael Stagerwalt and Cole Eberts won titles, and Gabe Irby was second at 113 pounds. Monomoy area's Cale Quick was second at 189 pounds. The Hazelton area boys and girls basketball teams are still unbeaten in the Wyoming Valley Conference after this weekend. In the game against Pittston area, Sophia Schultz had 14 points for the Lady Cougars, Lacey Kringy had 18 points, and Brianna Kennedy had 11 rebounds. Josiane Guerrera led the Hazelton boys with 20 points. Coming up, we talk with Penn State Hazelton basketball 1,000-point scorer Andy Kwiatkowski, and we'll tell you how you can help out the school's softball team. Stay tuned.
SSPTV News would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Anthony Tony Cristino Jr., age 86 of Hazelton. Mass will be on Friday at 10:30 a.m. at St. John Bosco Roman Catholic Church. The Joseph Moran Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Dolores Fornataro, age 91 of West Hazelton. Services will be held at a later date under the Hillary J. Bonham Funeral Home. George Butch R. Fulton, age 75 of Hazelton. Mass will be on Friday at 10 a.m. at Church of St. Joseph. Friends may call on Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. Ted J. Gans, age 90 of Hazelton. Services will be held at a later date under the Crofton Hughes Funeral Home. James N. Gilo, age 62 of Wilkes-Barre. A memorial service will be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. at the Benarski Funeral Home in Wyoming. Friends may call on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the funeral home. Dolores A. Givens, age 90 of McAdoo. Services will be private under the Damiano Funeral Home. Patricia L. Hale, age 74 of Hanover Township. Friends may call on Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home. And Richard S. Dick Hoadley Jr., age 74 of Whitehaven. There will be no public services. The Lehman Family Funeral Home is assisting the family.
Tonight's obituaries are being brought to you in part by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory, with 2 locations in Rockland and in Drums, 570-384-3312 or 570-788-0977, and go to harmonfuneral.com.